This video is going to introduce a new vocab word called the complement of an event. Now, the complement of A, and what I did by putting an A right there, instead of making up something like rolling a dice, flipping a coin, it's just A. It's an event. The complement of an event is basically going to be all the outcomes that are not in the event. So, the complement of A is going to be all the outcomes, or all of the outcomes, not in A. So, if I'm going to roll a dice and my event is going to be, or my outcome that I'm looking for, like A is going to be that I get a 5. So I'm going to roll a dice and get a 5. The complement of getting a 5 would be getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6. So it's everything except for what you're looking for. It's kind of like the opposite of an event. So down here, I'm going to have just a couple examples where we're going to pick out what a complement is. So you're going to run in a race with 3 other people. What's the complement of you winning the race? Now, the people may say, well, you losing the race, but we're going to actually break it down to the individual spots right here. The complement of you coming in first place is second place, third place, or fourth place. This is assuming that there are no ties, I guess. So you could also have in there a tie for first or something like that, because you wouldn't necessarily win. I'll put that kind of in parentheses here, because that's kind of getting technical. If you assume that there have to be 4 distinct finishers, you would either be second, third, or fourth. On the second example here, you flip 3 coins. What's the complement of getting 3 tails? Now, kids like gut instinct on this one is always say, oh, the opposite of getting 3 tails is getting 3 heads. But remember, the complement is everything except for what you have. So just because you have 3 tails, that's what you want to get. The opposite of it isn't just getting 3 heads, because that's not, like, it's supposed to be the complement and then everything else over here. Well, there's a lot of stuff in between right here. You could have heads, tails, heads. You could have tails, tails, heads. There's a lot of possibilities here other than just getting 3 tails. Basically, what they're looking for here, the probability of getting 3 tails, the complement is going to be not getting 3 tails. So you can always just put the word not in front of it, and you pretty much have the complements. Another way of putting it on this example is going to be getting at least 1 heads. Because if you have at least 1 heads, you're clearly not going to get 3 tails. So that one is a little trickier. It's not always quite as obvious as it might seem. We're going to practice here with a little formula that we can use with complements. So, the probability of the complement of an event. So I wrote that as probability of not A. A is, again, just some random event. Another way of writing that is a little apostrophe here, A prime. This also means not A. All you're going to do is take 1 minus the probability of A. So to get the complement, you just do 1 minus your original probability. And we'll see how that plays out in 2 examples here. So we know the probability of snow in this example is 23%, which, remember, probability we write as decimals. That's 0.23. Well, the probability of no snow, think about it. If there's a 23% chance there will snow, that means there's going to be a 77% chance that it won't. Or in other words, if you do 1 minus 0.23, you get 0.77. Because the probability of no snow is 1 minus the probability of snow. And on the second example here, we want to know the probability. They tell us the probability of all heads, 3 coins all heads, is 0.125. We want the probability of at least 1 tails, which we just discussed is the complement of that. The opposite of getting all heads is getting at least 1 that's not heads, or at least 1 tails. 1 minus 0.125 is going to be 0.875. So that's going to be our probability. Complement formulas are often easier than finding the actual probability because all you do is just take 1 minus, which you already know.